Gee, as I look at you, I still don't believe you're here, you know. You were such a thing to me as I was coming up as a kid, and I don't mean to keep emphasizing age.
No.
Because certainly nobody has conquered age any better than you have.
That's right. And you know what General Eisenhower said about age? There's three stages of life. Youth, no, wait a minute. Youth, maturity, and God, you look good.
Yes.
Which I love.
Yeah.
And it's true, too.
I just remembered something else. That time you came to Lincoln, Nebraska, I saw your show, and then I ran around backstage, and when you came out, I said, "Good show, Bob," or something, and as if in case you thought it was not good. And I was probably about 10 years old, and you said, "Thanks, son." Got in a car and left. I remember for days after that, I said, I was talking with Bob Hope the other day, and because I said, "Good show," and he said, but this friend of mine and I went up to your hotel.
Yeah.
You were staying in the Cornhusker Hotel.
Yeah, and I got stuck in the elevator.
You did?
Yeah, I was there with the mayor, and I was living on the next to the top floor, and when I got on, he said, "Hey, Bob Hope," and pushed the handle the wrong way. We went right to the roof. And they have an automatic thing that shuts it off, you know, but we were stuck between floors, and I had to crawl out of a hole that big to make the show, you know. Gives you a great feeling.
That would be all the close shaves you've had.
I went back to that town. That shows you how courageous I am.
To end up in an elevator in the middle of Nebraska after all.
Is John from there? He's from there, isn't he?
Carson is from Nebraska. I used to hear him on the radio on the way to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you do, hit him?
No, but I went up to your hotel room, and this friend of mine and I got up our nerve, and we knocked on the door.
Yeah.
And a lady came to the door, and she said...
My school teacher.
I
had to have. I was still going to school.
No, it was a middle-aged lady who said, "Mr. Hope's retired for the evening," and it was in those days I thought, what's a middle-aged lady doing in there with him?
No,
I didn't realize there were suites of rooms.
My psychiatrist.
And turned out that it was not your room, but you had
wrong
the whole,
room.
Apparently had the whole floor, and I guess you had secretaries and various people who worked for you. And every place we went, they said,
my wife is watching. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this, you know. Because she wasn't there, I don't think, in Lincoln, Nebraska.
They said...
I think you had the wrong room, didn't you, Dick?
Yeah, that's right. In fact, it was the wrong town.
I think so, Dick.
No, what have I done after all these years? No, members of your staff, we kept finding their rooms, and they kept saying, "Mr. Hope's retired for the evening," and we thought, well, okay. We thought of trying to climb up the fire escape.
Did we give you some kind of an all-day sucker and tell you to go away or what?
No.
What did we do?
Have you ever been fired? I mean, like...
Fired? Yeah, I've been fired.
Yeah?
Well, I haven't been fired, actually, but I've been... was I fired? I must have been, yeah.
In vaudeville or anything? Did they ever come back and say, "That's it"? You know.
Well, I told you about the Franklin thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, B.S. Moss's Franklin. That was the same thing.
Cancel you?
Worse than being fired. They weren't polite about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had my option dropped by Paramount. You know, I was there 19 years, and then they didn't pick up my option
After all those road pictures?
Yeah, that's right. After the whole thing, they changed management and everything. You know. And they didn't pick up my option the way I wanted it picked up. And I'll tell you, man, that's a terrible feeling after being in a place 19 years and you walk out. Because I was pretty well entrenched there, you know. It wasn't that way the first month I was there. In fact, they had my name on the dressing room door in chalk. They had a guy walking up and down in front with a sponge in his hand.
You know, when you said earlier you're a ham and you love the laughter and you'd like to keep going on with it, and I don't think I have it quite to that degree. And I wonder if you could take a month and go off somewhere in a cabin and fish and read Popular Mechanics or Dickens or whatever, just nobody around here. I bet you'd go crazy when you know telephone.
Not at all.
Do that?
No. I went up to Egg Harbor because I'll always find something to do, you know. And you know, the fish don't applaud much, but. I love to get out. I fish. I go out fishing for a couple of weeks, and I love it.
How long can you stand the quiet?
I say about 20 minutes.
That's right. That's what I thought.
No, I do. I get out, and I have a lot of fun. You know, I have more fun than most people because I live in Palm Springs half the time. I play golf, and all these dates I play are, you know, I'm going to play the Harvest Moon Ball. You know, now that's because I want to play it.
Yeah.
You know,
and
I don't have to play it.
Yeah.
Because I know I can always borrow a little from you.
True. Which president that you've known them all, so who played golf best?
Played golf best?
Yeah.
Well, I think Ike, because Ike was, you know, loved the game and played a lot of it. I played with Mr. Nixon about a year ago in Palm Desert, And he was pretty tight. Now, he used to be a pretty good player when he was vice president, like Agnew. You know, Agnew has a black belt. He has a black belt in golf, and I think that, no, he is. You know, Spiro could be a fine golfer if he could just aim it right. Because he hits it very hard, but he plays 3 or 4 courses at one time. And also the driving range. But Mr. Nixon, I played with him with Jimmy Stewart and Fred McMurray out at El Dorado. And, you know, when I played with him, he was a 14, and now he's about a 20 because he's had all these problems, you know, like going to China and having his eyes almond and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's
tightened up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. And learning to eat with chopsticks. He didn't get much food in his mouth, but he started 3 fires. And I think that
it's just built into you. What?
I didn't know I was going to get into that. That's some of it. No, but he would get up to here and hit the ball from there, you know? And I said, Mr. President, because I know him pretty well, I said, why don't you pull your hands up a little higher, you know? And how many times can you say to the President of the United States, get your hands up higher? No, you don't say it, do you?
John F. Kennedy played golf, but it wasn't well known that he did.
No, he played down in Palm Beach.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Bing played with him a couple of times.
Do you know
he played with a friend of mine, Chris Dunphy, Jack Kennedy, when he was president. And Chris Dunphy used to wait for him at the plane and take him right out to Seminole and play. And they were playing, and Chris loves to play for money, so they were playing whatever Kennedy would play for, you know, $5 or $10. And if he did that, this is just hearsay, I don't think he gambled. But anyway, first hole he had a putt about this long, the President of the United States. And the President looked up and said, aren't you going to give me this putt? Chris said, these are the kind of putts that build character. He said, President Kennedy said, wait a minute. You know, you realize that I flew down here after working for you and the rest of the country all day, and I came down to play. You're not going to give me this putt? And he said, Mr. President, practice these kind, because if you ever play for any big money, he said, this is the kind that'll help you in your game, you know? And Jack Kennedy looked at it. He said, well, I want to tell you, I'm having a meeting today with Mortimer Kaplan, the head of the Internal Revenue Department. Chris said, pick it up.
Okay, we have to come back after this message. Stay where you are. I noticed that Chief Dan George, who was in Little Big Man, he's been on here. He's I forget what tribe he is.
Oh, I know he's up in Seattle.
Squamish, I believe. Yeah.
What is he?
Squamish, I believe.
I think so.
Up in the Northwest.
Something like that. But he's some guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Great actor.
Marvelous.
Really
Great face.
Yeah.
Wonderful
Terrific. Terrific. He's really good.
Yeah.
I wish he could pitch. I'd put him in Cleveland.
Do you? A strange thing to ask you, but just crossed my mind. Where were you when Pearl Harbor was bombed?
Pearl Harbor, I was on my way to the golf course when, it's true, when you thought I was in, with Pearl Schwartz, huh?
No, I know that's not.
No,
There's a joke
I was on
like
my
that.
way to the golf course when I heard FDR declare war.
On the car radio?
No, wait a minute, what am I talking about? No,
Wait a minute.
no, that's right, Pearl Harbor. When the thing happened, when they announced it.
Yeah, they interrupted Sunday afternoon.
And I was on my way to Lakeside Golf Course in Burbank, and I heard that thing, yeah. And then I heard our president, FDR, announce it, who had some kind of sense of humor. He was beautiful, too. Most presidents have a great sense of humor, you know, because Jack Kennedy was marvelous, had a great sense. FDR was marvelous because the first time I played for him, I said that I'm so thrilled to be there to apologize for some of the things that I have said about our president, Roosevelt. Things like when Mr. Churchill and Mr. Roosevelt were conferring on war strategy in the Pacific, or in the Atlantic. War strategy meaning where and when will we attack the enemy and how do we keep Eleanor out of the crossfire. That doesn't do much to you because you were a little kid when you came to see me in Lincoln, weren't you?
That's right. But I understand that. I mean, because she was always traveling.
Yeah, she would
and
travel.
always jokes
That
about
played
that.
very large then.
Yeah. Is it funny? Do you ever read back old... Your lip is curling. Do you ever read back those old scripts and not know what a joke meant because something has just gone completely out of date? I've looked at jokes I wrote 6, 7 years ago for other comedians.
I
don't know what
understand
they
that would
meant.
happen to your stuff, but I tell you, No, yeah, we do. You know
Yeah.
how many jokes we have, and you never get a chance to look back because I've always had a staff that goes on, and we lay on the headlines all the time. You know,
Yeah.
so we don't actually go back unless we go back. Who dropped that one?
Do you know what that was?
Did you call a cab or something?
No, they're blasting in this neighborhood.
You're kidding.
Yeah, and they're getting closer, it sounds like. I don't know
God, I thought I'm used to hearing sirens on your show, but
what... You are, aren't you?
my goodness.
Yeah, they're blasting now.
Do they know that you're going to be here a few more weeks? They're blasting already?
Yes, I don't understand that. I'm very sorry about that, but then you've been...
I'll be all right. Don't worry about me. Tea, please.
That's funny. You've been in combat zones before, and you...
Is that a gag? Are you doing that for me?
No,
they did that to me one time. The 82nd Airborne Troopers put a bomb under the stage in 1943 in Africa.
Well, that's funny.
Just to see what I... That's right.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's what they thought.
Yeah.
Just to see my reaction, I jumped 4 feet right into a colonel's arms. We're married now.
Been writing ever since, eh?
No, it's true. They did. The 82nd Airborne in some place in Khartoum in Africa, some town. I thought that's what this was, to wake me up for the last half or something.
Did you ever have anything go off near you in World War II? You were up very close to a lot
Oh
of...
boy, we had something go off in Ben Hoa in Vietnam the first time we were there. They had all this security around us. That was in 1964, I think, our first trip over there. And right after that, they had just bombed the airfield and knocked out 17 planes. That was one of the original, plots to knock out an American plane. And they caught a group with the bombs just about a mile and a half away from the stage while the stage was on.
While you're doing the show?
While we're doing the show, they told us about it. So we've been very, very lucky. There's little things that happen. And I think they found out that they were on our side, too.
Your tone was so
Can I
serious.
reword that?
Can you reword that? Yes. What do you read, Bob? Do you get much time to read? How do you keep up?
I read all the papers. I try to read all the headlines and, around. I don't get a chance to. I read scripts and different things. I don't get a chance to read some great books that I'd like to read. But because I read a lot of scripts and a lot of plays and different things.
You must have to keep up with just about everything that's going on.
Yeah,
Because you meet with everybody. And,
right. I try to get material out of it,
What in your trophy room would you, if there were a fire in it, would you run in and grab?
In my trophy room?
Yeah, what's moved you?
Oh, boy, that's a hard thing to say. A lot of things. I've been very, very lucky, and I've been moved by a lot of things. And there's a lot of things that I'd like to save,
Yeah.
in that trophy room. Quite a
the
few.
Congressional Medal one of the top, the special medal that you got?
That's in the safe.
It is.
We're going to have a copy made of that. And seriously, to put on an exhibit. I'm hope to open a museum very soon out there because
I wish you would. It'd be fun to see.
I've had things given to me by almost every bass that I've ever played since 1941.
Yeah, it'd be a
and great
historical,
pictures, marvelous pictures of audiences of our service guys that that I've enjoyed, and there's so many things in that.
What would you do over differently? Do you like your life as far as it's been so far?
You know what I started a book with? If I had my life to live over again, I wouldn't have time.
That's very good.
That's true, and I don't want to change one day of it. I've been so really lucky, and so I've had such emotional kicks with different audiences around the world, and I've been exceptionally lucky.
Yeah.
I have.
Well, we must take this message and we'll...
I don't want to make you cry.
No, you almost got me.